Henshin Inspection presents Going Ultra. This is MJ. I'm an author, I'm an artist, I'm an analyzer. Find all my work at mjmunoz.com. Prepare yourself for hard-hitting Ultraman discussion and analysis. Ultraman Arc episode 23, Calamity Thrice, was a cool episode. I am a little curious about certain things, and I'm wondering if the way the next part of the episode pans out, there will be some revelations made. But anyway, I'll talk about the episode as it is now, then I'll get into some of my speculation, and also I want to do a callback to before, because I think there's something interesting to call back to. So I will do that when the time is appropriate. But anyway, honestly, really the main thing I liked about this episode, which I did like a lot, was the bromance and the, not the breakdown in the relationship, but the tension in the relationship between Yuma and Ishido. So Shu came to Skip as an outsider. It seemed like he was spying on them, perhaps. I think it was because he was monitoring the Monogalos horn in Hoshimoto City. I think that was part of what he was doing. He was looking for the Onyx, which I don't know if we found that out in episode 15 or not, but this does call back to episode 15, and we will get to that. But he came as an outsider, and he is somebody who is very lonely and who doesn't have a lot of family. We learn, not in the show proper, but we learn in his diaries, which I've been checking out, every now and then, that he grew up in America, I think with his mom. I believe there was some contact with a grandfather in Japan. I think it was a Japanese grandfather, not an American grandfather. But anyway, yeah, so there's a little bit, to him. There's a little bit of, not so much tragedy, but just more you can understand why he's grown up as an isolated person. Almost, if I'm remembering correctly, maybe moved around a lot, and just hasn't been able to form the connections with people that he's wanted to. And even you could say he had prejudices that held him back from being able to connect with people. He makes reference to that in this episode when he's pretty sure that Yuma is Arc, and he's telling him that he's not going to demand that Yuma explain to him what's going on and why he's been hiding from him, that he's been Arc this whole time. And he was saying, I would say that, in the past I would have said that we're a team and we shouldn't be holding out things. We shouldn't be keeping these things from each other. But I've learned to be, respectful? Empathetic. I've learned to be empathetic from you. You're rubbing off on me. These are the lines that he says to him. And I really appreciate that. And I really appreciate that the exchange has gone both ways, because I feel like Yuma has grown as a person. I think he's gotten a little grittier. I think he's gotten tougher. And I think he's gotten a little smarter as far as being willing to question people and be suspicious of them. I think those are traits that he's picked up from Ishido. And we have stuff with the mushroom alien guy, whose name I don't remember at the time, or this time. He and Shu are allies. Shu was going to shoot that man, shoot that alien, and just kill him. He was going to shoot the invader. And he didn't do it because Yuma protected this guy, and then it's an alien Kokoro. That's what I know that for sure. Anyway, but then he ended up becoming an ally of him. That's from Welcome to the Akebono Inn, I believe is the episode. Anyway, so, and he comes back and he actually gives useful information to Ishido, and he shares that with Yuma. I don't remember when that was specifically, but there is evidence of his growth there, and then he's specifically, that's what we're being shown, and then we're being told here that he's grown to be more empathetic, and he's learned that directly from Yuma, which I guess really that was an expression of his empathy with whatever the guy's name was. It wasn't Herbie, but I want to call him Herbie for some reason. Anyway, anyway, I feel like it's Natsuko or something very much like that. Anyway, but I'm not going to focus on it anymore. But yes, he spells out the fact that Yuma has helped him to grow as a person, and I like that. I like it because it's not telling to the audience, it's telling to another character in the show, it's telling to Yuma, and that creates an opportunity for them to have an emotional connection and an emotional moment here, and it makes the tension in the rest of the episode higher, because we get to see that, you know, Yuma's already been benched because his hand is shaking and other things are going on with him, which I guess is a side effect of having the Onyx within him. It's not really explained. You know, maybe it's a side effect of that, maybe it's not. Maybe it's a side effect of being connected with Ruchion for too long. I don't know. It's unclear, and they're not going to clear it up for, well, I mean, who knows when they'll clear it up, but it is unclear for now based on what we have in this episode. I went back and listened to my reviews of episode 15 and 16, and it was not clear to me then, and I mean, I guess I don't know if I figured it out after the fact or how this happened, but the Onyx is what turned into the Galaxer, somehow. I guess through the power of imagination and the fact that this Onyx, or whatever it's really called, I can't remember the name that they use for it, has like very a robust capability set. I was going to say skill set, but it's an object. I don't know that an object can have skill set, so I'm going to say it has a very wide range of applications that it can be used for with the proper input from the user, and somehow through the power of imagination and whatnot, Arc Ruchion was able to reform this thing into a power for himself. However, it has been residing in Yuma the whole time, and again, I wasn't clear that it was I didn't know that I was clear at that time that it had been reformed into the Galaxer. I think a couple episodes later I said, oh, I guess that's where the Onyx went, huh? But like, that's weird that he's just using it for power, but that's kind of cool. But I didn't predict that we would see that hole in the sky open up again, and I didn't predict that we would see Sweet again, but now based on what we're seeing here, I think Sweet's definitely coming back, just because it would make sense. And I've been wanting the threat of the, you know, annihilation of the Earth to come back and play an important part in this show. I felt like it should be the end game, and then we weren't addressing it at all for a few episodes. That seemed odd to me, but apparently that was the intention, and for whatever reason, we just wanted to spend time, the showrunners wanted to spend time doing other things and getting into other concepts, which I appreciate the last few episodes, or the last 2 episodes specifically before this, but it just felt kind of odd. We had the big Arc crossover, which doesn't really seem to have anything to do with it. It's kind of a distraction. Almost reminds me of, like, you know, the Mandalorian showing up in the Book of Boba Fett, that kind of thing. So yeah, just kind of strange. I didn't really understand why we took this detour. It's interesting to look back on those episodes and see that, like, the roots, or, you know, none of this is coming out of nowhere. It's all definitely in line with where it should be, or rather, what's happening here is definitely what was set up previously. We just didn't know it, and the way it's being played out, or the way it's being executed is, I mean, overall it's good. It's just interesting that we took that detour and now we're getting back on track. So again, I like the episode. I'm curious about the shaking. I wonder how that's going to be addressed in the next episode. I really like the appearance of this mysterious, it makes me think of the concept of Zafi showing up in the original Ultraman with this other guy, like Piorno, I think that's his name, Piorno, just like showing up, and he has a silhouette of an Ultra that you can see shining through Yuppie as he's talking to him, and somehow he was able to, like, hack Yuppie's electronic brain through the phone, which, like, I don't know why that's a thing, other than the fact that there used to be people who used to be able to hack into phone systems by picking up, like, a payphone and whistling or playing a certain tune over them, which is a cool, you know, fact that you may not have known about. You can look into that. I think there's like a documentary or a movie about it, but I have no idea what it's called. But anyway, you can hack the phone system through sound at one point in the history of America, at least, if not the world. And to think that Giorno is hacking, basically, Yuppie and taking control of him is really cool. And then another thing, they used just like a fun, interesting, simple, you know, Tokusatsu in-camera effect of they turn the lights off in the room and put a spotlight on Yuppie, and had him, or I'm pretty sure it was a visual effect there, or a like in-camera effect that was being done there. I think visual effect is what you're supposed to call CGI stuff, specifically. So I want to make sure I'm using those terms correctly. Anyway, but yeah, it was cool how they did that shot and how they like froze time for Yuppie and had it going for Yuma, I guess. And I like Arc showing up to give Yuma, in a reflection, to give Yuma the head nod to know that, yeah, this guy's okay, you can listen to him. I thought that stuff was really fun. A nice little character interaction for Rution and Yuma. And, yeah, I mean, I like this episode overall. I think it's definitely, we're getting good stuff, and I like that we're getting back into the main plot and setting things up for, where they're going to go next. And we do end on a cliffhanger after this big battle with Trigelos, not Monoglos or Gelos, or was it Dugalos? I think it was Dugalos. Anyway, but this is Trigelos, which is funny because Rin, I think, said it's a three-horned, Digalos. Oh, it was Digalos. That's what it was. And Bond corrects her, like, no, it's a Trigelos, girl. Come on, we gotta, let's do this right. Name these kaiju properly. That was a funny little, I don't know. This is a funny little moment. But yeah, I definitely liked this episode. It's just why it was held off for so long is interesting. I guess maybe if you're going to get into the end game, you can't be distracted by other things going on. But I don't know. I would have thought there would have been a different way to do this and a different way to handle this. But I mean, this is what they chose to do, and I'm not mad. I'm just curious, and I really do like the spotlighting of the relationship between Yuma and Ishido that we get to see, and like seeing how they're both affected by the reality that Yuma is, to some extent facing his death. Like, he's definitely putting his life on the line as Arc, and that's become even more apparent. Ishido has always been a fan of Arc, and he's grown to become a fan of Yuma. So now that he knows that Yuma and Arc are the same person, and that when Yuma's life is in danger, or Arc's life is in danger, Yuma's life is in danger, I think that kind of adds stakes to it, and I like that without him having to tell him. He knows now that he is Arc. I think it's fun that he's going to have an ally who he can depend upon, who knows who he is. I kind of wish this had happened earlier, honestly, so that he could cover for him more, but it's very well executed. The emotionality of it is great. The Japanese actor is doing a great performance. Like, I really feel like he cares deeply for Yuma, and he's so distressed about him potentially dying now that he knows, again, who he is, as I said. And yeah, I like it. I think it's really good. I think it's really fun. And I think they have a great thing going here, and the chemistry between the crew is really great. I really like at the end, I went back and looked at episode 3 is where it happened. And episode 3 is where he fought the Digelos, whatever, and he defeats it, and when he does, it explodes into like a bunch of rubble, and you don't get to see all the rubble everywhere. There are 2 Digelos horns left over, and at the very end he zaps them with his, whatever his beam attack is, and they're destroyed, so they're gone. There's not going to be like a Monogelos horn or Digelos horn, a pair of them in the city, because Arc destroyed them, which I know that was really necessary, other than to keep things clean for the staging crew. I mean, from the meta perspective, from the show, they don't have to include that anymore in an effect shot. Anyway, he exploded into rubble, and similarly, Monogelos, or this Trigelos, looks like he exploded into rubble as well, but then also Arc is missing, which sets up the big thing for the next episode, which is, well, what the heck happened to Arc? And for Ishido, I'm sure it's going to be, well, what the heck happened to Yuma? And it'll be interesting to see how much we get to see from his perspective, Yuma/Arc's perspective, and how much we get to see from the team's perspective, and if Ishido might share with them, or if he'll keep it in confidence. We'll have to see exactly what he does. But anyway, fantastic episode. Really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to the next one and to the rest of Arc. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the show, and I would love for you to check out growbugs.com to find out about my book featuring magical bugs battling monsters. I'm going to be releasing more and more information over there soonish, and you can find out about how to get the book, where to get the book, when it's going to come out, all that kind of good stuff. And if you don't want to check that out, you just want to check out more of my podcasts, more of my coverage of Ultraman and other Tokusatsu stuff, including Kamen Rider, you can check that out over on mjmunoz.com. All my work's going to be there, my art, my writing, and my analysis stuff. So until next time, folks, take care, be well.